Hard to believe, but in a little over a month now, Canadians will be cheering on our athletes at the Summer Olympics in Paris. And before they head off, we are lucky to be joined by two of those athletes. Pierce LePage is competing in the men's decathlon. Sarah Mitton is competing in women's shot put. And they're here in studio this morning. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
This is I was saying you and I could be sisters, except I'm just not athletic. So there's that. But we look alike. You both competed at the last Summer Olympics at Tokyo. Let's talk about what you learned from that experience. What did it teach you in how to prepare for these games, Sarah?
Yeah, Tokyo was my first Olympics, and it was during COVID, so they had a lot of different challenges leading into the games. But I think for me, I really learned kind of like what it takes to compete on the world stage, and what I was lacking. So I was able to kind of spend the last 3 years filling those gaps.
What about you, Pierce?
Yeah, for me, it was also my first Olympics. And what's good about your first Olympics is, you take what you learn from it and put it in the next Olympics. For me, I competed with it. I competed during the decathlon injured, and I kind of found my resilience in that. So I'm taking that into the next games and, being resilient.
We're just a couple of weeks away now. We know you're both at the top of your game. I mean, Pierce, you're ranked #1 in men's decathlon in the world. Sarah, you are the #2 ranked women's shot putter in the world. Sarah, in this year alone, I'm going to boast for you for a second because you've set national records both indoor and outdoor. What has helped you take your performance to the next level?
Yeah, I think I'm really growing into my sport. It's definitely a sport where the older you get, you can kind of it's a technical event and a strength event. So that combined, those just years of training really add up. But, I have a really great coach, a really great support system. And in that, just a lot of things that are all coming together at the right time.
One of the things we talk about on the show is how do you know you're good at ... For shot put, how did you know you were good at that? What are you doing in your childhood that you're that is going to be my sport?
I think, I'm pretty lucky that I fell into shot put when I did. It's not a sport that typically at a young age you would know you're going to be a superstar.
Right.
I was just very athletic, and I think kids can use that as a benchmark. They can give it a try and just age through it. It's not something that is one specific thing, but if you're super athletic, strong, and fast, I think then you can, be a really good shot putter.
And hardworking.
Hardworking.
Pierce, you have been through the RBC Training Ground program. Tell me a little bit about the program and how important it is in fostering athletes.
Yeah, for sure. RBC Training Ground, I'm sure everyone has heard about it now. It's all over the place, but it's a combine where you go. It's all across Canada, and you go, you test your skills, and you can find out what sport you might end up in. In my experience, I was a decathlete already, and I got invited to go. And at the time, I was 18, and I was just kind of doing it for fun. And all of a sudden, I'm at this combine with a whole bunch of athletes. I've only kind of been in the track world before, and I do this combine, and I won. And way back in the day, the OG days, when you won, you got to go to Rio, go to the Olympics. So I got to go to the Olympics and see all the athletes compete for the first time. And I remember walking in, I was watching beach volleyball, and I felt the Olympic atmosphere, and I thought to myself, I want to be here. This is something I can do and I can get to. And that kind of flipped the switch in my brain. So I extended my season. I used the funding from RBC to go to France, and I scored 8,000 points for the first time, which was just under the Olympic standard that year. And that's when I kind of thought to myself, I can do this. And obviously without RBC supporting me and kind of realizing that dream, it definitely, I'd probably be in my basement playing video games.
Like so many young people, right?
Exactly.
Which is also a sport in and of itself. I want to ask you, what was the moment for you when you realized I can do this?
Oh, I've always been a pretty good athlete, but I think it was, after university, I met my current coach, Richard Parkinson, and I switched from one technique to the other. And I just had this moment where I really knew that I could do this on the world stage. And it was really neat. I threw 2.5 meters further one year, and it was I think I'm going to the Olympics in 2021.
For those of us who've never been to an Olympics and never sat in the crowd, what is that energy like? What is that feeling like when you first walk out and you're about to compete?
It is funny because it was the COVID Olympics.
Oh, that's true.
But I will say, even with no people walking out for the Olympics,
so
Olympic Stadium, it's still
there was
intense.
nobody there.
But one of the kind of special things, I guess, for us is we get, 2 versions of the Olympics. So we get the COVID Olympics, we get the real Olympics. So it's going to be for us, first time we're actually going to be out in a crowd. So it's going to be super exciting.
True. What a different experience for both of you. So what's the plan right now in terms of for the next couple of weeks? What kind of training are you in mentally and physically?
For me, training, I'm back. I just finished a really strong competition cycle, so I'm actually going back into the whole. Really, just got 50 days left to prepare, so going to hit some hard training, and then I'll start to come up really close to the Olympics for peak performance.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, same thing for me. I do 10 events, so I'm just kind of all over the place in the track, throwing, running, jumping, but yeah, just preparing, getting ready.
Well, we are so excited to watch both of you compete. Thanks for being here today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.